Right, everybody. Thank you for coming today on this beautiful fall Sunday. When the weather gets like this, I always wonder, am I going to lose? So, thank you for helping me win today, and you're winning here by choosing to be here. So, we're gonna, if you're playing along at home, we're gonna have two blocks, a blanket, a bolster, and along with your therapy balls, and we're gonna get into the calves, the shins, and the quads today. But as always, before we get there, you may start as you like. You can be seated, be lying back, legs up the wall, even standing if that is your jam. And you can close your eyes and soften your gaze and invite in a sense of gratitude for taking this time out of your day to breathe and move and work on those relationships with your body and with your breath. And then from that sense of gratitude, let's go ahead and bring our attention to the body. So, depending on how you're situated, just be starting with a point of contact. Could be the heels, could be the back of your head, could be your sit bones, could be your shoulders, could be the sides of your feet, sides of your legs. Anything I have said or anything that you notice, allow your mind to settle there. And then maybe almost good simile for it is like a pebble or a stone you're dropping in a pool of water. You notice the body first starting to respond. Maybe the urge for the body feels the urge to relax or shift. And we'll go ahead and just allow that urge to occupy the driver's seat as the body can feel its way into its optimum relaxed state here, using the body to help bring the mind out of the list making, the thinking, the doing, the ruminating, the itching, the twitching, the other verb, just into what is happening right now and what the body is experiencing. And as we move through our practice today, through the exercises with the therapy balls, just keep in mind that your mind is going to want to go off and do other things, wonder about other things. And just remember that you are not alone. We are all there. Everybody has a circus. To see if you can use something in the body, some kind of sensation, the breath, an object around you, maybe even the sound of my voice as it moves in and out. Something to anchor the mind back into what it is experiencing, what the body is experiencing. And from the body, go ahead and move to the breath. Looking at first, just noticing maybe where it comes in at the nostrils or slightly parted lips if we're having sinus issues today, and where it moves out. Maybe tapping into that nice, gentle, easy rhythm. Inhale, slight pause, exhale, slight pause. As you watch the breath, as you stay with the breath, you notice the inhales and the exhales getting slightly longer, maybe even a slightly longer pause in between each one. That's just normal. It's the body relaxing, your nervous system going through from the sympathetic, the more active, flight, engage, what have you, into the parasympathetic, which is the more rest and observe and digest. We'll be here for about another minute or so. Again, just feeling the breath moving in and out. You may notice the breath moving various parts of the body, the chest, the collarbones, the ribs, the belly. And as you are ready, you can re-engage with the room, yet opening the eyes or maybe gently giving the gaze a shake. And we'll move into our class proper. So we'll grab a block and your therapy balls, and we're going to rule out the calves. So if you've been here before, you know that I always say that the calves are one of the spicy parts of the body, along with the IT band. Um, they tend to hit back if you hit them too hard. So we're going to ease into this here. So the blocks, the therapy ball will come across the block like so. And your calf, I like to put the belly of my calf on here. You may start higher, you may start lower. We're just going to gently set the leg on the therapy balls. And we'll let the whole leg relax. So toes, you may wiggle the toes a little bit. And you may notice little lumps in and around the area where the therapy balls are. And that's okay. Let's see if we may be able to work one or two of them out. But then before we move, we'll come back to that gentle rhythm of the breath, and we're going to move with the breath here. So on an inhale, first thing we're going to do is just pull the foot back, so a little dorsiflexion. And then on exhale, we're going to point the foot forward for some plantar flexion. And we'll do that about 5 times. After that fifth one, we'll just let the foot and leg relax. You may notice a little bit more relaxation, me up and in and around the quad. And we'll take this foot in a circle, so a little ankle circle here. Again, about 5 or so times each way. And we'll let the motion leg relax. And again, you may notice the leg getting a little bit more relaxed here. Then we are going to move with the grain of the muscle. This is a technique called muscle stripping. So I'm going to generate this motion from the hip. So I'm going to reach my hip forward and then pull my hip back. So we'll do that about 5 times. And I like to inhale as I go forward, exhale as I pull back. You may find there's a different mix for you. And then find a spot where you can comfortable amount of discomfort. We don't want any kind of shooting pain here, but we'll just find that spot where you're kind of like, ooh, that's kind of gnarly. And be lean into it if you can. And if you want a little bit more spice, you can do a couple of things. You can kind of shift that leg side to side, or you can stack the other ankle on top and nice and easy. And if you add more pressure, just make sure you keep breathing. You can always smile here too. Maybe wiggle the toes. And then we will ease off of that. We can unstack leg, lift that calf away from the therapy balls, and we'll just give that calf a little bit of massage here with the hands. I like to think we're telling it we're sorry. And then we'll hit the shin here. So the therapy balls will come across the shin and the block will come on top of the therapy balls. So think of this as like a rolling pin action. And we're just going to go up and down the shin. About 7 or 8 times. Sort of just bringing some a little bit of massage to the muscles on the front and lateral side of the shin, and also sensitizing those tissues. And then you will set those down for a second. Bring both legs out in front and just see if you can notice a difference between the leg we just rolled and the leg we haven't yet. One might feel a little bit warmer than the other. And we'll even ourselves out here. So therapy balls come across the block. Calf gently settles on top of therapy balls. And just take a couple of breaths here, letting that calf relax, that leg relax. You can wiggle the toes. And with that rhythm of breath, we'll begin pointing and flexing the foot about 5 times. And we'll let that motion subside. Take a breath or two. And then we can start circles with the ankles. And 5 or so times each way. Let that leg relax one more time. And then from the hip, we'll reach forward and then pull back 5 or so times. Nice and easy. Again, I didn't mention it on the first side, but you want to try and keep that foot relaxed. So if you're rolling and you want to really tense up that leg, just pause your rolling and then let that foot relax. So your foot would be almost naturally pointed. And you can find a, a mildly or medium spicy spot, depending on how you like your salsa. And again, here you shift the leg from side to side, or if you would like, you can stack that other ankle on top for a little bit extra sauce. And one participant called this the ghost pepper version. As always, you are more than welcome to smile. This is when I'm getting worked on, one of the places that I tend to laugh, especially on my left side. And we will unstack, lift away, give it a little bit of a rub. And then we'll do that rolling pin on the shin or the shin roll. So nice little massage for the bone, the muscle. And we will set the block and the therapy balls to the side for a couple of breaths. You can let the legs out in front. And we just notice if there's a resonance, a symmetry, a congruence. Maybe the second leg feels a little bit more close as far as resonance than the first leg. And we will bring ourselves around to tabletop. So if you would like a blanket under your knees, can have those, they have one of those there. But once you're there, arms comfortable distance, hands, knees, and make sure you feel supported. A lot of times it's you're cued and maybe to be here, your hand should be here, knee should be here. But with here, my view is whatever feels best in your body. We are all have different bones. Once we're there, once you are there, we'll tap into that rhythm of breath and start moving through some cow and some cat. So inhaling, we'll find our cow, tailbone lifts, belly drops, chin comes up. Inhale, find cat, tailbone tucks under, spine rounds, chin towards the collarbones. Inhaling and exhaling, nice and easy in between the two. Feeling that gentle articulation of the spine. Even noticing how that undulation makes the subtle shift in the insteps and the ankles, and even in the shoulders. After your next cat will reestablish tabletop here. And we're going to work our way up into bird dog. But first, we're going to start with that calf stretch. So the right leg comes back, toes tuck under, pressing out through the heel. Belly nice and toned. Breath is nice and easy in and out. And on an inhale, we can float that right leg to about hip height. If you feel steady, we can reach the left arm out in front. About 3 more rounds of breath here. And on an exhale, we'll settle the hand, settle the knee. Option here to take a couple breaths. You can make a circle with the hips to work a little bit of motion back into the body. And we'll come back to center and then move to the other side. So first find that calf stretch, left toes tuck under, pressing gently through the heel, belly gently engaged. And as you feel ready, option to float that left leg to about hip height, maybe even reach that right arm out in front. Again, we'll be here for about 3 more rounds of breath. And on an exhale, we'll lower the hand, lower the knee. Again, here we can make some circles with the hips again, 2, 3 times each way. And back to table. And then from table, we're going to move on to our bellies and we're going to roll out the quads. So the therapy balls are going to come along your femur, so parallel, kind of right in the middle. And so you're going to be in like a sphinx pose or a crocodile pose. So depending on um, how your low back feels here, you can be up on your elbows, you can lower your head, rest your head on your hands. And we're going to let that leg relax. And again, come back to that rhythm of the breath. And then when you are ready, just take a nice inhale and tighten up that leg on top of the therapy balls. Exhale to let it relax. Again, 5 or so times here. And after your fifth one, we'll let the leg relax. And then very gently, just kind of let that leg move from side to side. So it's gonna be a nice, not gonna be a huge motion, probably maybe 2 or 3 inches each way. You may notice some thumping. That's normal. Quads are big muscles. And we'll find a spot where you can pause that motion. Could be your starting point, could be a different spot. And then we're going to use the inhale and the exhale here. So on an exhale, you're going to bend your knee and inhale, let it gently move down towards the ground. So do that about 5 times. And if your knee doesn't want to bend all the way, that's fine. Just a function of the your one hip being slightly higher than the other. If you feel like you need to move the therapy balls down a little bit further towards the knee, you are more than welcome to do that. That might change the balance point. And after your next one, we'll let the leg relax. See if you can let the hips relax. You may notice your body sort of sliding to the opposite side. And then we will take the therapy balls out from under and we're going to roll onto the opposite side. So if your therapy balls were under your right leg, you're going to roll onto your left. If they were under your left, you're going to roll onto your right. So the leg you just rolled out is going to be the one on top. And you can support your head with your hand or let your bottom arm extend out so you can rest your head. And we're just going to find a quad stretch here. So we're just going to bend that top knee, grab the foot. And when you're ready on an exhale, release the leg. Come back onto your belly. Take a breath or two here. And always rock the hips from side to side. And then we'll do that on the other leg. So therapy balls come along the femur. And again, coming back to the breath, letting the body relax. And it's part of the sequence is a lot like the if you're getting worked on by a person, the initial compression, palpation, just the getting to know you phase, getting to know yourself in this case. And then with that gentle rhythm of breath in mind, on your inhale, tightening up that leg, exhaling, letting it relax. Looking about 5 or so times, maybe tempting to really just, tighten up as much as you can. Just tighten up about 50%. And after that last one, we'll let the leg relax. And then you can let it move side to side. And again, here, if you need to, if you feel you want to move therapy balls higher, lower, again, more towards the hip, more towards the knee, you always feel free to make that adjustment. And finding a spot where you can rest comfortably. Again, use the breath here on an exhale. We're going to gently flex that knee. Foot comes up towards the ceiling. Inhale, gently extend. And 5 or so times. And after that last one, if you're not there, no rush. But after that last one, just see if you can let your whole hip girdle relax. So the glutes, the hips, the quads. You may notice everything kind of shift towards the unsupported side. We'll go ahead and take those therapy balls out from under and then roll on to the opposite side. So the leg you just rolled out is going to be on top. And we'll find the quad stretch here. So top knee bends, hand comes to the ankle or the heel. And when you are ready, we will ease off, bring the leg out straight, come back onto your bellies. You can take a couple breaths here, rock the hips. And as you rock, you may even let the shoulders relax and the head maybe loll side to side. Then from our stomachs, we're going to ease ourselves back upright, grab that bolster. And well, the bolster is an option here. I'm going to show you guys how I like to set this up. We're going to come into low lunge, but from knees on kneeling on a bolster. So you're going to be in tabletop. You're going to have your hands on blocks, knees on the bolster, and the bolster is going to be about halfway, maybe a little bit further back than halfway on your mat, depending on your proportions. Excuse me. And then when we're ready, just going to set the right foot in between the blocks. And if you need to, you can always inchworm that right foot forward as you let your hips move forward. We can untuck those back toes. Remember, we have 3 levels on the blocks. And again, here, if you notice your mind going into the circus or wondering what the circus is doing, use something in your body, maybe a stretching sensation or a relaxing sensation or the breath, maybe the knee on the bolster, the foot on the ground, hands on the blocks. For about 3 more breaths. And then we're going to ease very slowly and gently our way back into a runner's stretch. So moving that front leg towards straight. Again, the blocks can come just in front of the bolster or they can come up on the bolster. And then slight or more than slight bend in that front knee. Let those toes relax. And nice and easy. We're going to bring the blocks a little bit forward, bending that front knee. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring that right leg back behind. It can extend straight, or you can put the toes for one more little calf stretch here. And then we'll bring the knees back to the ground. Can take a couple of breaths here, noticing how one side feels compared to the other. And we'll move on to the other side. So that left leg comes in between the blocks. And setting yourself up so if you want your hips to come forward more, you can inchworm that front foot forward And then let the knee flex, let the hips, that back hip extend. And then just breathe and experience. One of the things about longer holds like this is that physiologically, one of the things I learned prepping for my exam, your muscles move towards more of a plastic state the longer they're held in this stretch, which is where this lasting change begins to come in. So the longer and more gently as well we are in these shapes, the more the body starts to unwind all of those, the tightness, the tension that everyday life likes to wind into it. And we will nice and easy move back into that runner stretch. In the blocks under the hands for support. And we will ease back towards kind of a low lunge just so we can bend that knee, front knee, and then we'll extend that knee back, that leg back behind us, again, hovering or toes tucked under for calf stretch. And we will bring both knees back together and take a couple breaths. You can be in tabletop or you can kind of sit back on the heels. If you'd like, you can tuck your toes underneath. Nice little bottom of the foot stretch. And from here, amazingly, I am ahead of schedule. So I'm going to add in something we did last week, but I figure we could do it again because why not? Have a seat. It can be cross-legged or it can be kind of in hero pose up on a block. We're going to grab our therapy balls and we're going to take one of them out of its tote. So we're just going to use one here. And we're going to do a little bit of skin rolling palpation on the sternocleidomastoid. And what this muscle does, it sounds gnarly, gnarlier than it really is. But what it does is um, you have one on each side, and it comes from the sternum up to just behind your ear. So it um, uh, flexes the head, and it also turns the head from side to side. So we're going to do a little before and after here first. So we're just going to look over the right shoulder, nice and easy, not too bad, nothing too crazy. And then we're going to look over the left shoulder, just kind of seeing how each one feels or how far you can see. We're going to come back to center and turn to the right. And that therapy ball is going to come. If you first just find your collarbone and come up just a little bit. You don't, if you feel like you're choking yourself, you're too far forward, but you should feel the band of muscle right there from about your collarbone all the way up behind your ear. And we're just going to take the therapy ball starting down by the collarbone and then just gently press in and twist that ball up towards behind the ear and back down a couple times. And then we'll come back to the center. Tilt that left ear towards the left shoulder very gently. Come back up to center. Turn your head to your left. And again, find that band. You can start up by behind the ear. You'll like a kind of a taut band all the way down right at collarbone, but then we'll bring the therapy ball just above the collarbone, pressing in and twisting. Again, if your gag reflex kicks in, you're a little bit too far forward. We'll go up and down twice. And then we will come back to center. Right ear tips towards the right shoulder. And then we'll come back up to center. And then one more time, we'll turn our head to the right. And notice, can you turn your head a little bit farther? Is it easier to turn your head a little bit farther? We'll come back to the center and over the left. And back to the center again. And we'll slip the therapy ball back into its tote. May have time for one more final therapy ball thing. But first, we are going to your bolster. Everybody bolster looks like it's in a good, well, Michael, you may want to move your bolster farther forward. So we're going to do a shoulder stand. Shoulder stand into a figure four stretch. So bolster kind of halfway on your mat. You can use a block for this too, or a folded up blanket, but just kind of ease yourself back. So combination of like a forward fold, legs up the wall. Arms can rest wherever is comfortable. And then we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee. So for our basic figure four, if this is good enough stretch for you, you can kind of hang out here. But if you want more sensation, you can bend that left knee. We'll let both ankles relax. We'll be here for about 8 or so more breaths. And if your left knee is bent, we will bring it back up to the ceiling. And then we can uncross that right leg back up to the ceiling. You can point and flex the toes here, circle the ankles. And then we'll move to the other side. So left ankle crosses over the right knee. Again, you're more than welcome to stay here. Or if you'd like a little bit more, you can bend that right knee. So change the, maybe add some pressure onto that left ankle. When you're ready, you can, if that right knee is bent, bring it back up to the ceiling, uncross the left ankle. You can point and flex, circle with the ankles as well. And then you can let the knees come towards the chest. Slide that bolster out from under. Let's see what time. Oh my goodness. So to add one more thing here, we'll grab the therapy balls and the block. So we're going to do the occipitals here. So the block is going to come under the head. Therapy balls is going to come under our R, going to come under the block. And the occipital bone of your skull is going to come rest on top of the therapy balls. And just let your head, neck relax. You may not even have to let your head and neck relax. Your head and neck might already say, oh, beautiful. And as always, you are more than welcome to hang out and breathe here. Or if you want to add a little motion, you can just start with nodding the head yes. And you can always just gently shake the head no. And maybe you can make some gentle spirals with the nose, maybe 3 or 4 times each way. Eventually, we'll let the head rest for another couple of breaths. And you can nice and easy remove the block and therapy balls from under the head. Option to make any last movements here that you would like. And when you are ready, and let those feet settle. The legs can walk out long. Arms rest where they will. Just allow your body to be supported by the floor, your breath to rest against your body, and your mind to be at ease in your shavasana. Begin to bring your attention back to your breath. And allow your breath to guide your attention back down into your body. Feeling the support of the floor, the air on your skin. Gentle ebb and flow of the inhale and the exhale. As your breath and your attention reach the outer edges of your body, go ahead and allow movement to return, starting with fingers and toes, feeling those movements ripple up the limbs, back to center, maybe culminating in a big stretch, and easing yourself onto whichever side feels most comfortable, and taking a couple of breaths with your knees, hips, and shoulders stacked, head on that bottom arm, feeling your body re-solidify, feeling your body around the breath. And with the strength of that top arm, begin to ease yourself back up into a comfortable seat. Once you are there with your eyes closed or your gaze soft, we bring our hands together in front of our hearts in a gesture of gratitude once again for yourself for taking this time out of your day to breathe and move and work on those relationships with your body and with your breath. And gratitude for this practice of yoga, which provides a container for us to work on those relationships. And my gratitude to each and every one of you for allowing me to guide you through this practice here this afternoon. As always, it is an honor and a privilege to the teacher in you. Namaste.